Hello everyone, my name is Dennis. I've worked at very large technology companies such as Google and more startups as well in more recent years. And I interview a lot of candidates in my current role. So what I'm going to talk to you about today is that interview question, tell me about yourself. It usually happens at the start of an interview. The interviewer, when they ask that question, they're usually looking to just kind of get a grasp of who this person is that they're interviewing. And really, because that start of an interview is so important when a person makes, whether they want to or not, a judgment that pretty quickly of is this person someone that I could work with? Is this person good? So that question is always very important to get right first of all. Okay, so first of all, 3 basic tips with that question. You're going to have to tell them a little bit about your work experience. The interviewer isn't asking you about you in terms of your personal life and everything. That'll come later in the interview. But they're really looking for this person, what has been their work history to date. And what's really important is that you are well prepared for that question, this question. Some good advice someone gave me one time was, why would you not prepare for an interview for a job that you might have for years and not spend more than just a few hours interviewing for it? So with this question, make sure in your CV, in your resume, in the US, as it's called, make sure that you know which points you're going to talk to. So tip number 2, so tip number 1, well prepared. Tip number 2, make sure that you're not just talking about your CV, like from top to bottom, or your resume. The interviewer doesn't want you to do that. They want you to actually tell a story of that interview in terms of a story about your career. So you should be looking to a few topics from each section where you are at from today. Now I'm going to talk to you about tip number 3. So the interviewer wants you to answer where you got to today. Where you are in this interview today, that you've actually turned up for the interview. What have you done before that? And and then I guess they're the 3 kind of key pieces. Well, top tips would be do not talk for more than 5 minutes. If you find yourself talking, trying to get through your entire CV, you've probably lost the person. You need to make sure when you're actually giving an update of where you are to date in terms of your career. Maybe a good example would be I worked at a software tech company for 3 years where I learned to become an excellent salesperson. I got promoted in that job and based on some of my strong performance delivering large sales quotas. So you need to be specific and give some examples like that, concrete examples of where this journey you are in your career. And another top tip, make sure that the interviewer is allowed to interrupt you. It's not a bad thing if the interviewer interrupts you, because they need to get some key information from you, or some experience that you might tell them about might actually be very relevant to that role, so they'll want to learn more. So it's a good sign if someone's interrupting you throughout. So I would speak in a very kind of open way where someone's allowed to interrupt you if need be. Make sure you have you're highlighting your relevant examples. Another tip is be specific about what was it that you did at a company in prior experience that you're very proud of, or amazing results. And then I guess on that one point about your previous experience, talk about what you achieved there, maybe some things that you learned there that allowed you to move into the next role. And this might be a next role that you're hoping to move into, or maybe that you've learned things throughout your career that makes this job that you're going for so relevant, or things you've learned to your career that you really don't want to work in, that you really want to work in this role that you're actually applying for. And then I guess the real killer tip would be make sure that the job description that you have actually read, that you can maybe point back to, this was my previous experience and this is why I'm such a good fit for your role. Or interviewer, I see that you're looking for these specific attributes. I feel like I'm a great fit for the role because I have great communication skills from my time working at I don't know if it's a waitress or waiter, where you had really good communication skills previously and that you can actually demonstrate that. Okay, another top tip, cancel the waiter thing. on that point, why you're a really good fit. So it might be a case of you have great communication skills because you were a receptionist one time and you had to communicate with lots of people and manage a very busy workload, which made you very experienced and a good communicator on a daily basis. Using examples like that. Always use examples and tell a story. People love to hear stories, and it's the same with an interviewer. Make sure that you're telling them a story, and make sure that when you get asked, tell me about yourself, that you do not actually talk non-stop for 5 or 10 minutes. And they're my top tips. So come back for another video pretty soon in this YouTube channel, and please subscribe for more top tips. Thank you. Bye.